I'd have to say this last interview with John Cena, it really felt like nothing was off limits. And we talked for over an hour and we had a great conversation, but I kept bringing up like big moments from his past
Of wrestling.
Where he had like never told these stories before. So like I'm sitting there and he could have like glossed over or like, given me a short answer, and like he's going in depth and giving me like 3 to 5 minute, like long thought out, like detailed responses. And I'm just sitting there like, I can't believe this is happening. This is awesome. Like I kind of off the cuff, he mentioned something about wanting to turn heel. And I'm like, how close are we to getting that? He's like, oh, real close. And I'm like, what's the time period here? And he's like, right before Rock Hogan, WrestleMania 28. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then he started going into detail of like, I had a new song and I had these low cut singlets and I wasn't going to look anything like the John Cena you were used to. And that John Cena was all about hustle, loyalty, and respect. And this one would be the opposite. And he was going into detail of like everything he had thought out. And I'm like, he's never told this to anybody else. And when someone like John Cena does a lot of interviews and you're still able to get something new, as you know, as an interviewer, you're just like salivating. You're like, this is the best. This is the best. So that's one of those moments. There was a bunch of like clips during that where he was telling me things and I was just like, this is crazy that like I'm the first person to hear this. I can't believe it.
And he kept extending the interview?
He's the best. Yeah.
How long were you supposed to have with him?
1 hour.
You were supposed to have 1 hour?
Yes.
And how long did you get with him?
An hour and 13 minutes. And so the full story around that is I've interviewed him 4 times before.
All in person?
One of them was virtual. When he was hosting a show called True Grit way back.
And what were the other ones? In movie promos or for your podcast?
They were all, 2 of them were movies. And so one of them was Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 9. And the other one was Bumblebee. And then one was for like my YouTube channel. It was like 15, 20 minutes. And he extended that interview too. So when the actor strike was going on, I just shot him a text out of nowhere.
You had his number.
Yeah. And it's not like I text John Cena often at all. But I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot here. The actor strike's happening right now. He had returned to wrestling. Like he's got some time on his hands. So I shot him a message and I said, so cool to see you in wrestling right now. I've done a lot of big interviews this year. Rock, Hogan, Flair, Undertaker. There's just one name that's missing from that. If you have any time over the next few months.
This is all in your text?
Yeah.
When a text goes to John Cena, is it green or blue?
Oh, it better be blue. He wrote me back like later that day and he's like, I'd love to do an interview with you. I actually want to wait until the actor strike is over so I have something to promote. And he's like, this is the best part about him. He goes, definitely follow up with me and don't feel like you're bugging me. Like, I want you to follow up. We're going to make this happen.
That's so cool.
And what a cool thing for anybody to say, especially someone in John Cena's position. But like, yeah, definitely like keep hitting me up because we're going to make this happen and don't feel like you're bothering me. Amazing. Then he shoots me a message like a month or 2 later and he's like, I think I'm going to be in LA for these dates. I'm going to be at the Iron Claw premiere.
He reached out to you out of nowhere.
Yeah. I'm going to be at the Iron Claw premiere. And I'm
Where are you when you're getting this text?
I don't know. It's probably at the gym or something, like hyperventilating. Like
Everyone's like, do you need help?
I do remember later on in that day, because we went back and forth a few times that day. I remember later on that day driving with my wife and we have a truck and we have Apple CarPlay. So the texts come through like on the screen. We're driving along and like on the screen message John Cena. And I'm like, can you believe this? What world do I live in that John Cena is texting me right now? So he was like, I'm going to be at the Iron Claw premiere. I don't know how much time I'll have there, but I hope to see you there. And I ended up getting invited to the Iron Claw premiere in LA. I saw him there, but he didn't have time to do an interview. But he's the best. He makes time for everybody. So he saw me. He came off the red carpet after he did the photos and the interviews, quick interviews on the red carpet. He saw me and he was like, oh, hey, man, what can I do for you? And I'm like, what can you do for me? Like, what can I do for you? And he's like,
F5 me right now.
Yeah. He's like, I I know that we talked about doing something. I'm so sorry. Like, as soon as this is over, I'm leaving. But what can I do for you right now? I've got like 2-3 minutes. I'm like, could we take a photo? He's like, F yeah, we could take a photo. So we go to the red carpet. We take a photo. He's super kind. And he's like, man, congrats on everything you're doing right now. And I'm like, congrats to me. Congrats to you. And he's like, and we will do the next one in person. Keep texting me. Let's follow up. Let's make this happen. And sure enough, for the interview that we did, he's like, I'm going to be in town February 12th and 13th. Let's do something. And it was for his movie called Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime, which is hilarious, by the way. That movie's great. And Amazon Prime set everything up. And they were like, how much time do you need? I'm like, like 30 to 45 minutes would be great. And they're like, all right, we'll get you for 30 minutes. And I'm like, sure, perfect. Then when they sent me the schedule, it was from 3 to 4 p.m. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that means he requested an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the 55-minute mark, this guy came in behind, like he was going to be right behind like my eye line with a sign that said 5 minutes. And that's when John Cena was like, this guy's coming in here with this sign to tell you got 5 minutes left. We're going to keep going. Okay. What a guy.